Alright, and welcome to AZW Action. We have got more Stalwart Division, Tournament Openweight Stalwart Division Tournament action coming to you. Right now we've got Roughhouse Jolly taking on Nostalgia Critic. Ooh. Roughhouse shot Nostalgia Critic there into the corner and ate a boot for his trouble. Roughhouse looking like he's going to throw Nostalgia Critic out of the ring, and he does. Nostalgia Critic trying to get right back in the ring, but dragged out. Interesting to see Roughhouse so determined to take this fight to the outside. Got it up to 11 already, 12, 13. They're just fighting there on the outside. Suplex. Pretty good impact there. It's up to 16.
17. 18.
Nice Critic runs inside, and then Roughhouse does up to 18 count there. Interesting. Not quite sure what Roughhouse is up to there. Well, I guess he could be going for a quick count-out victory, or maybe even a double count-out, because that would be an interesting strategy if that's what he's going for. I'd imagine he'd want the victory, but I mean, with a double count-out, he would get 1 point. Which at this stage, this is the first of the fourth phase matches. Both of these guys so far stand at 1 and 2. 1 victory, 2 losses. Roughhouse 1 against, let me see here.
6, 7, 8.
They're back on the outside again.
9, 10.
See, Roughhouse
11.
went up against
12. 13.
Paul
14.
Penis and beat him.
15.
And then, of course, AVGN was the one who lost against Nostalgia Critic in that grudge match at Nefarious in November, and Nos picked up his only 2 points so far in that match. Other than that, Roughhouse has lost to AVGN in a very decisive match, and he's also lost to Wraith in their first matchup, and Nos Critic may have regained those 2 points, but since then he has lost to both Wraith and Bootsy. So this is actually kind of an important match. Well, every match of a tournament is going to be important to some degree, but of course 7 rounds of matches here, 8 guys, that round robin, that makes for 7 rounds or phases of matches. That means they can afford to drop a couple of losses, as long as nobody else just wins every match along the way, although so far Wraith has been able to do that. He's standing at 3-0 so far. The only one to have a intact win streak. But what's going to happen here? Ooh. Nice Critic flipped over off the Boston Crab attempt, but manages to nail the kick and then rush in with that kind of reverse bulldog move there, or a dropping clothesline. There's a nice power slam. Again, gouging at the forehead or eyes there. He likes doing that to people. But the reason why this one is a little bit important here is because, fourth round, this fourth round, this is the midway point of the tournament, so at this point they cannot afford more losses. But someone is going to go 1 and 3, someone's going to go 2 and 2. 1 and 3, that doesn't necessarily put him out of the tournament yet, because of course Wraith could potentially lose all 4 of his next matches, and somebody could win it on points or by being the one to have, having beaten him in a match. But both of these guys have lost to Wraith. So at this point, again, this could be a situation where we've got an obvious elimination here. Because if somebody goes, you know, one of these guys is going to go 1 and 3. What's going to happen? Ooh, that was kind of a diving front drop kick to the side there. Innovative, interesting, somewhat effective. But, yeah, since both of these guys have lost to Wraith, if he wins his next match, I believe that would effectively eliminate the one who loses this match. If Wraith wins his next match, whoever loses this one would be eliminated. Because at that point, they would not be able to, or even if they won all of their last 3 matches to go 4 and 3, in the end, Wraith would, even if Wraith had the same record, he would have beaten both of these guys. And the way that this works, as I've explained in other matches, is that if there's a tie at the end for who has the most points, whoever lost their match against each other is the one who loses. The winner is the one who wins. I should have said it that way. But of course, if there's a multiple-way tie and there's no clear way to decide, there might be like a 3-way dance or something to decide the victor in the end. Oh, there's his finisher. Nos kicks it. I think we're going to get a 1, 2, and 3. So Roughhouse is the one to go 1 and 3. So depending on what happens with Wraith's next match, that could be Roughhouse eliminated right there. So we'll just have to keep an eye out on see how that goes down, folks. Don't miss it. This tournament is really heating up, moving into the mid section of the matches. Standing so far, pretty much everybody has eaten some losses somewhere along the way, except for Wraith. As I said, he's gone 3 and 0. Wiz dropped a loss to Wraith in their match to see who would continue the win streak and who would lose. So he's 2 and 1. So he's still doing pretty good. Bootsy's 2 and 1, I do believe. Let me go back to my cheat sheet here. Yes, Bootsy beat Paul and Nos Critic, but lost to Boomstick. Boomstick has beat Bootsy and AVGN, so he's standing at 2 and 1 because he lost to Wiz. Wiz beat Boomstick. He also beat Paul, but then he lost to Wraith, so he's standing at 2 and 1. Nos Critic just picked up his second win for 2 and 2. And AVGN so far is sitting at 1 and 2. Roughhouse is now 1 and 3. And Paul is 0 and 3. So far, the ones doing the worst, I would say, would have to be AVGN and Roughhouse Jolly, depending on AVGN's next match, which will be up against Wiz. So we'll have to see how that goes down. If he can beat Wiz, then that not only looks good on his record, because Wiz was doing quite well in the tournament until he went up against Wraith, but that will also put him at 2 and 2, with which keeps him doing pretty good. Actually, it's not the best record, obviously, but at that point, Wiz would also be 2 and 2, so that would put him, pretty much a mid-range of success so far in the tournament. So the only ones who are really in trouble at this point, I'd say, are Roughhouse Jolly and Paul. Everybody else is still quite alive in this, so we'll just have to see how those other matches go down, and as I said, I believe if Wraith wins his next match, there's no way for Roughhouse to win. Because even if he managed to win every single one of his next matches, he would still, and Wraith were to lose 3 in a row at the end, and they tied, Wraith would still get the victory because he already beat Roughhouse. And that makes this next match of Wraith and he's going to be going up against, let's see, Wraith will be going up against Bootsy. So Roughhouse is going to be nervous watching that match, so see you there, folks. See how things go down.